Welcome to another episode of Tapped In Media. Russ and Rojo.
That's right,
here
man.
again, back at it.
Yes,
before
sir.
we introduce our next guest, just want to give a huge shout out to Luis Verduzco from A Toast of Life, who came out here. Ultra inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
Great energy. Gave us a lot of tips, a lot of
loved it.
pointers.
He was
I mean,
awesome.
and even then, after that, he still was helping me out with a lot of like
You were telling me about
the
that.
reals. Yeah,
Like he was texting you,
dude,
like,
10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, we're going back and forth like
yo, that
like
guy's
lovebirds,
in, bro.
not
Oh,
in that
wait,
way.
what?
Not in that way.
What?
My bad, Luis. I'm kidding. But no, you know what? I appreciate
get
him
me
very
started,
much.
bro.
I appreciate him so much
Yeah.
because he did help me out. And now that you see some of our clips, some of our reels, he's the reason why it's the way that they look. The music beds underneath. He's the one that kind of gave me all that, all those tips. So
and if you want to check that interview out right now, it's on our YouTube channel, of course, at Tapped In Media. Go ahead and give us a follow too on Instagram at @tappedin_media, and
TikTok,
yes, sir.
Tapped In _media.
Yeah, we're also on TikTok too. A lot of our stuff and reels, and a big shout out to Luis. So, sorry, bro. And for hooking us up like that, because he did give us a lot of good insight on some of the stuff he does. And if you, like I said, go ahead onto that YouTube channel.
Yeah, he's doing big things. So thanks to our partners, Café del Cid. Go to delcidcoffee.com. Make sure you get your orders. As you can see right here, got the fresh ground coffee and the whole bean. Delicious. We just made a nice cup of coffee for our guests.
Yeah.
So-
Well, he made it. You didn't make it.
Well, it was already.
Well, I don't know why you
kinda
try to
made.
take credit.
Sorry, dude. Man. Also,
Just joking with you, man. You're so
all right,
serious
I'm
this
just
morning.
saying that hurt my feelings, man.
Alright.
So huge shout out to Café del Cid.
Yeah, big
thank
shout
you.
out, man.
Make sure you go to our website again, delcidcoffee.com, and use promo code tappedin_media to get your discount. Also, shout out to Upland Nutrition, located in the beautiful city of Upland. If you want to get your protein shakes in after a good workout, that's where you go if you're around the neighborhood.
Yep.
And so thank you so much for partnering up with us. And now to introduce our next guest, the creator that promotes family, community, I should say familia, as he says it,
Bro. Oh, yeah.
and
Familia.
food,
Yeah.
which is all about his lifestyle. He has over 22,000 followers on IG, over 500 subscribers on YouTube. Let's welcome in to Tapped In Media, none other than Alexander Orozco, al que no conozco, cuando, ¿cómo? I kind of messed that up, did I?
You blew it, bro.
Welcome,
The Hood
Alexander
Hoodie.
Orozco,
Come on,
man.
bro. Come on in, man. Hell yeah, that's cool.
What's up, man? ¿Cómo estamos? ¿Cómo estamos?
You're leaving them hanging, dude.
Already?
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry.
Wow.
Well, let me explain. Sorry about that, brother. Go ahead, put those
It's
bad
okay,
boys
yeah,
on
I got
right
you,
there.
I got
I'm
you.
so sorry about that. Let me tell you how it works real quick. I'm
Okay.
more of the technical disaster, as he
Yeah.
likes to put it. So like when things start to happen, like in the show, like I'm like moving and doing this. This is the guy over there that just sits there. And like
Yeah, he's-
things are just happening. And then shout out to Drew, like 3P
You know
Studios.
how I know he's on a good one? Because he's on attack mode on me right now.
Is that his mechanism?
Bro, no joke. I mean, I love Rojo. We've been working together for many years.
Too long.
And, but it's cool. It's all good. But Alexander, welcome, man. Welcome to Tapped In Media. We
Yeah, man.
appreciate you taking some time.
We also appreciate the fact that you drove all the way out from the 818 area, man. So I know it's a long drive, and we kind
Yeah,
of kept you
thank
waiting.
you,
So we
man.
apologize for that.
I know. That's
You
on
know?
me. You could put that on me, though.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, but just to correct it, it's Alexander Orozco cuando como no
There you
conozco.
go. See?
Hey, there we go.
Valiendo
Well,
madre.
of all people to get it wrong,
I know.
it'd be that guy
I
over
know.
there. But in all actuals, he's the one that always corrects us
Yeah.
when it comes to Spanish, you know. And I have the worst. I'm the
messed up.
worst in Spanish. So
And you grew up in La Puente.
I know. Go figure, man. You came all the way from the valley?
Oh, it's my hood of the
I know,
818.
man,
Yeah,
818.
I've that's my love right there. There's a lot of good memories out there. But yeah,
A little tighter right there, bro. Go ahead. A little closer.
yeah. Oh, so you're American. All right.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
There you go.
Want to make sure we hear you, man. Cool. So all the way out there, how was traffic this morning? Not too bad.
No, actually, it's pretty empty.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah,
empty.
it's Sunday.
Yeah.
And I love these drives. I know people are like, oh man, you come from here, you come from there, but I feel like that's my me time, right? Like,
Yeah.
Life goes so quick, right? Life goes so quick, but I think that's kind of like my space to kind of like everything slows down. I start analyzing things, kind of what can I do better? Because at the end of the day, we're always trying to better ourselves, till
Right.
our last breath.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
But no, I thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
like
for
I
sure,
said,
man.
for me, it's for when people give me a voice. I mean, when I started hearing like, yeah, you can inspire at least one person. When those talks started, it was kind of like, wow, like if I can just inspire one person, I think I did my job. And only to find out that today, I get messages, I get phone calls, people that run into me, and they tell me like, and these are some, from little people to big people and everything in between. They're like, we want to thank you because we are at where we're at because of you.
Nice. So you've inspired people. You lit that fire underneath some of these people.
I mean, you got a huge following on Instagram, pretty good following on YouTube, right? So, and you do all this content, you meet a lot of people. So yeah, you're eventually going to have that inspiration, amongst people across the board. There's a lot of things that we saw on some of your platforms, which grew a lot of interest for Rojo and I. And we were like, well, okay, let's bring him on. We want to talk to him. And I mean, some of the guests that we usually talk to are like, there's something that always stands out that's a little interesting than other creators. Not that each creator is not interesting, and we definitely invite that. You know what I mean? But,
each has their story, but some are more cultivating than others. Yeah, just because they have that real grinded out type of background, where they came from that struggle.
For sure.
And it's no knock on those people who didn't.
Right.
But it's harder for those that did have to grind it out, did have to make those connections without having any network, without having anybody to help them out along the way.
Exactly.
Put a hand out to try to help them out. So it's those type of people that I like talking to because there's just more to relate to. And again, no knock on those who have made a success out of. Shout out to them. They didn't even know,
Yeah, and if you guys want to come on the show, no problem.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. It's still an inspiring story because they made it. But I like the background of, the hustle and the struggles before the success.
Alexander, tell us real quick what you do on your channel. Just kind of give us an idea of everything that, brings your image together.
It's definitely started with food.
Right.
Food is the universal language of the world. It brings people together. But at the end of the day, like, how you introduced me, right? I changed from being just, somebody that is in the foodie community to now it's, a husband, a father, lifestyle, community, because that technically that's who I am, right? I mean, I'm a little bit of everything. But yeah, it started, with the food, and not knowingly that, once I got my first podcast, I had hit my rock bottom, and not knowing that I had no filters. People would ask me, and I would talk about my mental health, I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. Autism. My baby boy Xavier, he's 16 and high functioning autistic. Diabetes, the elephant in the room when it comes to the foodie world, because obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no doubt.
Especially being a Latino, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it growing up, and I just got one of my toes amputated, and I know how the story goes, right? Once they cut one piece.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh,
is that did that recently happen?
I want to say like about a year ago.
Because you did have a clip of you being in the hospital.
And trip out on that, dude, like just the mentality, right? Like I was going in there, doctors were like, "Oh my God," and I was like, "I could be worse," right? But one of the most beautiful things that came out of that is that one of my familia members that worked there saw that I was there, and she was like, "Oh my God, I want to get to you." She was like an executive chef for Cedars-Sinai Hospital, like executive chef, right? And she saw that I was in there, and she's like, "I'm gonna come visit you, la 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 la." And she ended up, I think, like the second or third day that I was there, because I was there for like a week or two. And she came to me and she told me, she's like, "You know what? I want to thank you." And I'm like, "For what?" I'm at right now, as an executive chef because of you.
Wow.
Right. And then I'm like, what? And I love to give credit, what credit is due. I see my circle. I oh man, I'm so proud of you, carnalito, carnalita, la la la. And you know what's the biggest blessings? What they respond? What you tell is never to stop.
Yeah, no doubt. That's always the hardest part. Like getting people, the motivation and then never quitting is always the hardest part to do because, as we do these tasks, and I want to ask you real quick because, I know you tasted, you went to a lot of spots already. I mean, you tasted a lot of food. Yeah, I mean, obviously, right? That's why we had that interest in you, and you did some stuff in Crestline, and we saw on your Instagram. Head on over to the Hood Foodie, right? If you want to check out some of his stuff. And then you did some cheesesteak stuff. And then we saw, talk about it, or talk about good.
Talk about good.
Talk about good, right. So
which will be one of our next guests, by the way. Shout out to Talk About Good.
Yeah, so we had to bring, I want to bring that up. But out of all these spots, like you go out there, you do these things with, engage with the community and especially in the food world.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorites? And, just kind of give us an idea of how you approach that.
Well, since day one, I felt like I was nowhere, or I was nobody to judge people's food because, like I said, this is my calling. This is a purpose. I didn't ask for it. It fell in my lap. Right. So apparently I'm one of the pioneers to push street vendors on Instagram. And now what taquero doesn't get showcased. Right. And who tells me that? Diosito. Right. Like we were some of the first, I guess people sometimes tell me like, oh man, you've been, since day one, la, 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 la. But this is where the story goes, right? Like growing up, I was such a picky eater. I don't know how to cook.
How did that change the way you eat? Because now you're trying different things. Like you're a picky eater.
Correct.
Like I mean, I know a lot of picky eaters, and when I mean picky eaters, like they're only eating chicken nuggets and fries.
Sounds like my son.
Same here, baby Gigi.
But that did change your overall, right?
Oh no, of course. Look, I was brought up with principles and morals, right? And I think that's a lot of the reflection of how I move. Because that's how I'm known. Like, oh no, the Hood Foodie. Like, I take people places, right? And even before they introduce themselves, it's like, oh no, if you're rolling with the Hood Foodie, you're good.
Nice.
Right. So I've built that rapport. So, going back to the story, it's like, and I can't keep up with the foodie world because of my disabilities, right? Like my bad memory, my dyslexia, whatever obstacles I might have, right? So when I started in my hood of the 818, taking pictures, right, of like, local mom and pop shops, quickly LA hit me up, the mecca of the foodie world.
Wow. Right?
So then I was supporting small businesses. There was one particular time where, the first restaurant that I hit up in LA, I went to a meetup. There was maybe like 10 of us, and at the time, there was not a lot of Latinos in the industry. Not a Latinos. It was mostly like Asian or Caucasian. And, so when I came across them, I was like, oh, my, shit, Latinos, right?
Yeah.
So, but where I was going with the story is that there was 10 of us. People started taking pictures of the food, and then I started noticing that some of the people were throwing the food away. And it was just kind of like a whole clout thing and this and that.
Yeah, all for clout.
And I was like, what? Like, that shit, that doesn't seem right
to
me.
They tested the food, so they took a bite or whatever.
Or they pretended to taste the food. It's just for show. The whole smoke and mirrors type thing. Oh, look at us. We're here.
That's bullshit.
Look at us tasting this food.
Clout.
And then at the end, it's like, we're not really about this shit.
That's kind of annoying.
So I was like, wait a minute. We just saw this family put their hearts and soul into the food.
For sure.
For somebody to just take a fucking picture and throw it away. I was like, I'm never going to be that.
Yeah, because that's their investment. They spent the money to go get the supplies, and then they turn around, they put the work in to do that, and then you're going to go and, man, that would piss me off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so, like, it was the whole thing is like, these people are inviting me to eat their food, right? Like, that's what they get excited for, like this and that. You know, so why being, you know, such a picky eater, not knowing how to cook and not being able to keep up, who was I to judge them?
Yeah.
Like, I have my own palate.
Yeah.
And everybody else has their own palate.
Yeah, but I think that comes with like being humble and gratitude. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Like, I think when people get, you know, inside of that influencer world or creativity world or whatever it is, they're like, oh yeah, like I just needed that just for the show.
Yeah.
It's like, well, pack that thing up and take it home, man, and eat it later. Like that. I mean, honestly, it's disrespectful. And but because you're humble, right, and because you know you have that gratefulness. You know, you don't look at businesses like that. You go in there and you treat them well and you respect it because you understand how difficult that is.
Yeah, and
you
I
know?
think it's more because he's more about community based.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to chase the fame, the clout, the whole influencer aspect of it.
I don't get that, man.
At the end of the day, it's just making people feel appreciated, man. We're human.
For
We're all
sure.
human. Just like you said, right? Like yes, I do acknowledge that, you know, fucking, you know, somos chingones. Like when you told me like, oh man, you know, thank you for even being in our platform. Like, dude, like I come across so many stories of people like, you know, oh my God, thank you for responding. Thank you for, you know, this and that. I'm like, what the fuck are people doing out here?
Yeah.
Like, what I could not see myself not catering to the people that are making me.
Yeah.
I don't fucking get it. Right. And hey, we were talking about it, right? Like everybody has a story. I feel like because of what I've gone through, like not, you know, I wouldn't want people to go through the same shit I did, not even my fucking worst enemy.
For sure.
Right. So, you know, it goes to the whole, you know, I'm grateful. I came from a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
I never asked for this. Like I said, God gave me a second chance at life, you know, and we were talking about the whole formula, right? I seems like people tell me like, oh, bro, you've unlocked the formula. I don't even know because I'm so disconnected to the world, which now I see it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't see anything beyond what, you know, my focus on my purpose.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. It's you know, it's.
I want to ask, where did you get the name The Hood Foodie?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
No, everything was organic. My wife claims that she came up with the name. I mean, she's nothing hood, right? So I don't know how. But I can't. I have bad memory, right? So I can't really.
Well, for your sake, we're just gonna say your wife is right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
Yeah, let's just go with your wife.
Hey,
Let's just go with your wife.
She's right. No, she's right, bro.
You're right, baby. You're right.
You did create it.
Yeah, so that was the name, right? The Hood Foodie. And then I remember one day I was doing a little project with somebody, and they're like, okay, well, you got the name.
Yeah.
Where's the face?
Right.
You know, not thinking of it. Like I'm just like, God. And that same day, I feel like I went home. You know, got butt naked. You know, ended up in like, you know, on the floor of the living room, and I started playing with like filters and the Facebook one, the cartoon one. Like
Butt naked?
Yeah, it was hot. Hey, I was chilling.
I had to
man.
ask, bro. I had to ask. Sorry.
Hey, we keep it real. We keep
All
it
right.
real. So, you know, just to paint the picture, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
It was wooden floors, you know what I'm saying? Like, little, you know. But
I got it, bro.
so yeah, I was playing with the, you know, the Facebook filters. There was like this like cartoonish.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was
it.
The initial logo of the.
How long have you been doing this now?
How long has Instagram been?
Oh wow.
Forever.
Oh
10?
no.
That's how long?
10, 11, or 10 or 9?
A minute.
I think 10 or 9.
Oh no, we like I said, I you know, apparently I'm one of the pioneers, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. So 10,
I know too much.
yeah. So maybe 9 or 10, I think, because Twitter was in 06. So I mean, Twitter.
Yeah.
Kinda, you know, kind of push it up. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking MySpace because I know we all could relate to MySpace.
No, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
I
of
mean,
course. Yeah.
I mean, that was like a long time ago.
And speaking of your wife, I know that you and I were talking earlier before we got on how she saw that you were just not wanting to do the whole 9 to 5 thing, and you were really trying to push your brand. So she said, "All right, screw it. I'm gonna get you to just push your brand, and you got a year to do this." How did all that go down?
You know,
and it's a similar story to another guest we had.
We talked to a lot of guests that we asked that, and they do always refer back to their wives.
Their wives.
You have to have a strong support system.
Yeah.
If the support system is not strong, it's gonna be a way difficult road.
Right.
Like if you don't have that, I mean, even right now that she's supportive, you know, I mean, you know, we're husband and wife. Nothing's ever perfect.
Mm-hmm.
There's our little hiccups or whatnot, but
of course,
you know, like they're manageable.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this a full-time job right now?
What
the Hood Foodie?
Hey, I'm still baby. Yeah. No, I got my 9 to 5. Huge shout out. I mean, I don't know if they want me to call, you know, say their name, you know, but we'll just keep it disclosed. But I want to thank, you know, the company that I work for. They, you know, since day one, I've been up front with them. You know, when I was interviewing, I told people, right, because now I'm just protecting my peace, and any interview that I would go into is like, I want to make sure that I jump out of bed when I come to work,
right?
Because that's gonna reflect on my daily life. I don't want to drag my feet, because then, like I said, I'm gonna take it out on people, right? So, you know, this current employee, you know, they've gone through it with me too. You know, I got in about a year ago. I got amputated. You know, my toe got amputated. I was out for like a few months, and they were still waiting for me. You know what I'm saying? And they work with me, right? Like if I got advanced, if I got this, I got that. As long as I'm communicating with them, right? Like they're there for me. So I cannot ask for, you know, a better employer, man. That, you know, I'm so blessed to have them. But yeah, you know, that's I have my 9 to 5, and then, you know, once I get off of work, you know, it's the brand,
right?
So it's 24/7.
Oh man, well, I mean,
24/7.
Yeah. I know you're here with us, right? You're here with us. Ro had a question about when you were hospitalized.
Yeah,
right?
well, the whole hospitalization. I know that you were amputated. But the main reason is because you deal with diabetes, and so how long has that been going on for you? And not only the fact that you're diabetic, how do you go about being able to maintain or, you know, balance that diabetes without having to overdo it when you go out and eat the food?
Yeah.
Because most of the food out there is like...
Yeah, because you got to worry about your health, you know, like being diabetic, right?
Yeah.
So where's the balance?
You know what? Like I said, I have bad memory, so I can't remember how long it's been that I was diagnosed with diabetes. But I do remember that as soon as I was diagnosed, I stopped drinking soda from one day to the next.
Okay.
Wow.
Right? Because I was literally drinking like 4 to 5 2-liter bottles of soda a day. I mean, I would technically go to sleep with a 2-liter, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, so...
You like soda that much, bro?
Oh, no, yeah.
That's crazy.
At the time.
Well, not no more, but I meant, you know, of course, at the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, like I said, once I was diagnosed, I stopped, you know, one day to the next, but I'm going to be real with you, man. Like I'm human, right?
Of course.
Am I perfect in taking care of my diabetes? No.
Who is, though? I mean, seriously, right?
I try. I think one of the things about life, right? Like it's like you just got to keep trying. Like you know, once you give up, that's when you lose.
Right.
But you know, when you keep trying, and right now I'm still kind of going through that battle of like the medium of like, you know, and it's not necessarily when I go out and eat. Mm-hmm. Even though like the people bring out the house, right?
Right.
But I feel like I owe it to them to at least try their food, right? So I'll take a bite here and there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I get home, my wife is an amazing cook. Like you said, right? Like I've had a good amount of food.
Yeah.
So I know flavor. I know my palate.
So
yeah.
I mean, I know, you know, through the house stuff and things like that, and you know, and back to the balance thing, right? Because you know, you're working full time, you're running the Hood Foodie, right? And then you have your family. So I mean, how do you find that balance? Because we all know, you know, it's pretty important and it's key to with family and then what you do there. How do you find that balance? And like, you know, give us some tips and your advice to somebody that would say like, okay, well, I have all this going for me and I got to take care of the family and I got to work.
Not only that, I also have to make time for my kids.
Right.
Because we go through the same, especially
for
me.
Sure.
So it's a great question to ask because us ourselves, we try to balance this real life, real, you know, work and also kids activities, whatever it may be?
I mean, I think my case is kind of a little unique, right? Because of the fact that not knowing that by me working on myself, I was gonna inspire them, and then and then they inspired me in return. Where am I going with that? Is because one of the reasons why I love what I do is because it's not even for me, right? I love it more when I'm able to like take my family with me, and they're all about it, right? Like, oh yeah, little hood footy, mini hood footy, mini hood footy, Toxica, little
That's awesome.
Yorkie, so I feel that like I'm not even trying out here, right? And I made them believers. They got inspired, and now it seems so easy to just kind of like balance the both of them, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, like I've been in the game for so many years, about 19 years. I've been giving, everything off my back to the community, bringing my family along with me through the trials and, tribulations. And, and this year, 2025, it was just, I gotta take all that energy and put it on me and my family. And that's where I was like, you know what? I love the community. That's my love. That's my purpose. Right. But I've been lost for so many years, trying to catch up, and now I'm just, trying to give them the world, and I make sure that I make, my family is my priority.
When you say you were lost in the world, does that mean that you were basically not in the picture with your family, like you were not around, type of thing?
I was not around mentally.
Okay.
I was working on myself.
Okay.
Like just like we said, right? Like we can't blame our parents for where we're at, because now as a parent, like you understand, like damn, like you're working with what you got.
Yeah.
There's no blueprint.
Yep. I totally get what you mean too, because I had a career for quite some time, and not too long ago, I do a lot of meditation now, and like I change a lot of things about myself, because as you get older, you start to have like these, self-reflection and this realization of yourself, right?
Yeah, he's got a whole YouTube channel of like Zen Russ.
Yeah, it's me just sitting there meditating, absolutely no sound, nothing is
just
happening.
Him,
not entertaining at all. But I mean, honestly, like I think during that time of my career, like I did have some sort of like I was a little bit. I'm going to say this, and if my wife ever sees this, I don't know if she will, but I was a little probably absent-minded, but not because I wanted to be. It was more because like I was stuck in the moment, like of being busy and working and doing this. And then come to realize, after all the self-realization and the meditation, that...
And pandemic,
well, that too, but it really wasn't that important.
Yeah.
Like their importance was everything.
And he's right, because he was my manager back at iHeart.
Yeah.
I know you were asking us like when you came from radio.
Yeah.
So he was my manager, and this guy was always on the go. And at that time, we were also trying to do our own podcast before it was podcast. And it became tougher just to try to get him back in the swing of things. But because he literally would take on so much, and it was
Too
like,
much.
damn, what the? Like,
But I think
all right, dude, like, he was absent. Like his mentality was work.
And I want to go back to like what you were saying. Like you do have that time where you're like, I kind of disconnected myself when honestly, I probably should have never done that. Like,
yeah.
But you're so, immersed in your work and what you do, and like, for the hood foodie and stuff like that. And you just kind of get caught in the track, and you're just like, damn, I'm going at it. And that's why we had to ask, because we always do kind of ask a question like that balance, and that, how do you do it? You know what I mean? Like, is there a system for you that's something that works for you? You know what I mean? Like, do you do the calendar system, or because we interviewed somebody before, and they were like, oh yeah, I have like a calendar, and we saw their calendar. I think it was
that was Steve Gregory.
Steve Gregory, and we were like, damn, dude. I mean, my calendar don't look like that for sure. You know what I mean? My calendar has like maybe 2 or 3 dates on there. Like a doctor's appointment or something like that. Random stuff.
Yeah.
But is there a system that you have in place that works for you to do things like that post doing your regular 9 to 5?
Nah, man. Like since day one, I never look for the likes, the follows, this and that. So like everything that I do like comes from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's me promoting a restaurant, or somebody wanting to take a picture with me, or like it's never been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the hood foodie, I'm gonna have the schedule. There's never been structure to it.
Right.
Right. I mean, yeah. Now, obviously the brand's getting bigger, and like I said, Mike Jones.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, everybody, you know, wants to join and things like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it's you know your priorities.
Right.
Right. You know, like I tell people could tell you like, oh yeah, you know, I don't got time. Blah blah blah. We all got time.
For sure.
We all got time.
Absolutely. We're Tapped in Media. We're talking with the Hood Foodie on Instagram. That's the Hood Foodie. Alexander Orozco. Was that good? Was that good, guys?
Alexander Orozco.
And what was the slogan?
Oh, cuando como no conozco.
There you go.
He has over 22,000 followers on Instagram, and also his YouTube channel. He has a bunch of videos, a bunch of content up there related to food.
And community.
Which is awesome, and familia, like as the you know, like so
Sure.
his family and stuff. So, if you want to head over there, take a look at that real quick. Rojo had a question about the Telemundo.
Oh yeah.
Right?
So I was gonna go to that. How did that transpire for you? How did you land that Telemundo feature? Acceso Total.
Acceso Total.
Yeah, that's a Telemundo network. You know what? It comes from just being me, building relationships with people. Obviously, you know, just connecting with so many people from like I said, from the smallest to the biggest and everything in between. The other day, I came out and you know I was tripping out. Because you know I've gotten the eyes of like Food Network producers, MTV producers, this and that, but nobody's ever kind of pulled the trigger, right? So I did my own little thing on social media, like, damn, man, you know, just imagine, you know, we can kind of put the movie together out there, you know, because if people are getting inspired just by the little bits of my story, imagine, you know, how many more we can inspire if they knew the whole story, right?
Yeah.
And my canalita, Claudia, she jumped on it. She was like, that's it. So she's a producer for Acceso Total for Telemundo. And she said, because you know she's kind of been figuring out like how can I have you for the show because you don't cook, you know what I'm saying?
He's got an executive chef, family member, and a producer in Telemundo family member. We got no family
nothing.
members.
That's nothing. Hey, when you get the hood food, you get the familia. But she was like, you know, she commented like within seconds. That's it. We're gonna do a biography on you. And I was like, oh damn, like okay, like let's do this, you know. So that's how
because when I saw that interview and you went deep on some personal things, personal life, personal issues that you went through, and you and I prior to this interview spoke a few weeks back, and you and I also shared some personal stuff that we dealt with, and you and I relate on a lot of levels of like our parents. You lost your parents at an early age. When you were a teenager, right?
Correct.
And same thing with me. I lost my father at 15, cirrhosis of the liver. So how did you manage to be able to still, I guess you would say, thrive and get out of that and be able to continue on with your life, even, you know, after losing both your parents?
Well, you know, like we spoke earlier, right? Like, you know, we are who we are today because of everything that we've gone through.
Yeah.
And when I lost them, I was lost. I was lost. You know, like I said, same thing. Dyslexia. I didn't have a bad memory. I barely graduated high school with the C average. Like I barely graduated, right? So I felt like I was given to the world, you know, with no guidance, no nothing. You know, yeah, I had my siblings, but they were trying to, you know, put
so
their
you
own
have brothers
story.
and sisters too?
No, yeah, I have an older sister, older brother, and a younger sister.
Okay.
And
big family.
Yeah.
4 of you guys, yeah.
Probably 4 of us, yeah. And yeah, you know, so I was lost, and how did I cope with it?
So
the same way that my dad was taken out. He was an alcoholic. You know, from the stories that he would tell me, he started like at a very young age, like at 13, 15 years old. He started drinking, never stopped. When he was in his, you know, like his 50s, you know, I guess we were trying to encourage him to stop. And then that's cirrhosis, everything hit him. Everything hit him.
Right.
So, to the point where like the doctor was even like, if he would have kept drinking, he probably had another 5 years.
Wow.
Like that. because the body was already so immune.
It's used to it.
Yeah. And then my jefita, right? Like, you know, she I think she depended so much on my dad that because she got depressed and she developed pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
So that's where it was like back to back.
Oh my God. So how I'm sorry. I mean,
It's all good. It's all good.
how far were their passings?
It's about a year.
A year
from
apart.
each other?
A year.
A year apart. Wow.
About a year.
That's crazy.
So-
My dad died of cancer. I talk about this all the time. And 18 hours prior to my father passing, my Nina, his youngest sister, passed, and they were crazy enough. They were pretty close with each other. But it always fascinates me, like when people are that close, and then they pass because of due time, and it's no fault to their own or whatever it is. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where that separation happens, and then people miss it so much. I mean, I always think like a heartache that just doesn't go away, and losing a parent, man, is one of the most intense things as you get older in life, and you never realize it until it actually happens to you, but at a young age is a different circumstance, because both of you have experienced that, and as teenagers, or younger, and to have that resiliency. And I've brought this up to Rojo many times before, that one of my biggest things about him is because he is resilient like that and has gone beyond that, because he did lose his dad at a young age and didn't let that bring him down, and his upbringing too, because the fact that he was homeless too, like as a teenager. But I mean, good on you, bro, for like, overcoming those things and many of those challenges. And some of the challenges I know that you have too is like being dyslexic, right? And are there any setbacks like with you when you do this type of content and stuff like that, like with your dyslexia? I mean, do you have anything that kind of like any blockages or something that limits you from doing this stuff?
Just like we were talking earlier, right? The only one that could stop yourself is yourself.
Yeah.
So it's the belief, right? And, obviously sometimes we go through our ups or downs and, however you want to put it. But for me, I'm losing my brain of thought. What was the question again?
It does the being dyslexic, because I know you talked about it on Telemundo. Yeah. Does it have any setbacks for you, or what are the challenges on providing like content or do things like that? Does obviously overall in life, I guess, being with the dyslexia.
I mean, I wouldn't call it challenges, because I've understood that I have my own strengths, right? And now I can say, you know what, I need a team, right? So for example, like when people send me contracts.
Yeah, you're not.
There's no, you know what I'm saying? That's
so you have a team. I mean, wife is included, but is there other people involved? Like with
2025, I do have a partner out in Mexicali.
Oh, cool.
Maxima Consulting.
Charachicali.
Yeah. Oh, puro cachanilla. And mitad cachanilla because mi jefita Mexicali, and mitad panza verde because of my jefito en mi bonito León, Guanajuato.
Oh, nice.
My wife's family's also from Mexicali.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So. He goes out there pretty often. I give him clothes, or they take clothes.
Yeah, he's
down
giving
there.
me clothes to take down there.
And they take clothes down there sometime for everybody down there. Donation.
It's a trip because I had linked up with somebody that did that collected toys for the community.
Oh, that's cool.
And I wanted to just help out. And one day I said, hey, you know what can I do? He's like, collect toys. Okay.
You were out there recently, right?
Oh no, Mexicali. I'm there. I think I'm gonna be there more often because of my partners in Mexicali.
Okay.
Because they have a brand out there, and it's already proven. That they're basically like a marketing business to help businesses in every shape and form, from like street vendors to corporations. But yeah, I mean, we could definitely get into that more detail to that. But yeah, I feel like there's gonna be more movement. And it's special to me because obviously, it's in Mexicali where my jefita's at, what was from. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's cool.
So for me to be, put this brand together, not knowing what I'm doing, everything just feels right. To now people seeing a value in me and just being like, hey, we want to do this, we want to do that, because the partnership with Maxima it could be life changing type of thing.
So, speaking of partnerships, we took a look at your website. We were looking it over. We always do. Head on over to thehoodfoodie.com. We noticed that you had a lot of sponsors, right? So you got McDonald's, Apple TV, LAFC, Tommy's, Don Julio. I mean, just to name a few. I know
you didn't bring a bottle of Don Julio.
I know.
I'm very disappointed.
And I know there's a lot more. But do these companies approach you for these partnerships, or are you seeking them out?
I've had this question asked, so many times. I have never reached out to any of the brands.
Wow.
Okay. That's awesome.
And you're talking about like 40, 50 of the biggest brands,
Yeah, those ones that I just listed is not like, those were
they're
not small companies,
regular,
man.
Yeah. They're not your mom and pops. I mean, you're talking about McDonald's.
Don Julio?
McDonald's was the first partnership that I had. They reached out to me at 3,000 followings.
Wow.
They said, you know what? We see something in you. We want to offer you internship with potential partnership. And I'm like, who would I be if I didn't? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
this
awesome.
is McDonald's. Like, so.
And is that still going on now?
No, I was actually sponsored by them for about 5 years with the Southern California division. So
okay.
Los pesados.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy that you haven't reached out to any of them and they've all reached out to you.
Obviously your content has reached out.
Well, just
right.
Somebody asked me yesterday, hey, they were asking me for advice, like, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And I feel like my final response to her was, it never fails just being yourself.
Right.
I feel like, when the whole craze of like content creators, influencers, I feel like businesses kind of like stepped up their game too, right? Like they're going to find out if you're real or you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of how I am, how raw, how real, they see that. What have I been able to maintain them? No, because I'm not all there. I didn't have the team at the time.
Yeah.
So now that I have a team that we can be consistent.
Right.
Oh no, like Diosito once told me, like, oh no, the world's gonna get to know who the Hood Foodie is.
Nice. And it did change a lot of the stuff that you do now because you do have that team that's helping you out, and it always does. It does help to have people that are
you need it.
Yeah.
You can't without a team.
Even with your team, do you think there's challenges that you run into considering the fact that there's so many foodie people out there? Do you ever run into any of these like, oh man, like that okay, he took my opportunity? Is it ever like that, or is it just like, nah, I have my own area that I cover and they do over there and I'm good over here?
One of the things that I struggled with mental health and we grow, we learn and things like that. Yes, there was a time where I would compare myself to people. Right. I would compare myself to people. I was in my head. And then there was one time somebody told me, it's like, nobody can make salsa. No, what is it? How did she say? Okay, yeah. She said, everybody makes salsa, but nobody can make salsa like you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was so powerful, so simple, but so powerful.
Yeah.
That now it's like, oh shit, I created my own name. Mm-hmm. Like, how many people have I come across? So many business owners, familia members, they're like, Hood Foodie. Nobody is doing it like you. Mm-hmm. Nobody.
I like what you put on Threads, and he put it in caps. Read it again. I used to get upset at people for not supporting me. Like I supported them, no questions asked, until I realized that everyone out here is trying to make it out just like me, making me realize that I am responsible for my own success because it's my success, no, not anybody else. Nobody is responsible for your success. It's your success.
No, yeah.
To me, that hits. That hits because, and not to cut you off, because I sometimes, go back and I'm like, damn, some of the people that are close to me don't necessarily look at my stuff that I do, this platform that I'm trying to grow with Russ. And sometimes it does get me down because it's like, where's the support? Just a simple like or anything like that. But it's the mic keeps cutting off.
No, you're good.
So for me, it's like I looked at that, and then when I read that, I was like, all right, you need to shut up and just continue to push your content, continue to push your platform. Eventually they'll come around, and if not, it's okay. Like, not everybody needs to be supporting you or doing any of that. So just keep it going. Just like you said, it's your own success that you need to build.
I mean, imagine me, right? Like I've been, on Instagram for, since it started, giving so much of myself to the community, right? Like no questions asked. And then I don't like to ask for favors because I don't like to owe people, right?
Right.
But when I did, like, when I felt like I needed a helping hand, I put it out there in the masses, and it was like, did I get support? I got support, but out of like the hundreds or thousands that I've helped, I mean, I can count with one hand how many really reached out. Right?
Yeah.
And I could have easily said, you know what, like, I'm going to, this is going to break me, which, we have feelings, right? We have to go through those feelings when you cry, any emotion you got, they're there for a reason, right?
For sure.
So I had to take that I had to take that. I was like, damn, man, like, I'm doing so much. I'm even bringing my family along, you're struggling. And, I spoke about how, one day or a couple of days I would stop by at restaurants, and they needed my support, and I didn't have no cash.
Okay.
But, it was the intention of just being a good person. But that just goes to show, like, I've been bringing my family, but then it just made me realize, like, nobody's responsible for me.
No doubt.
Like I realized that, everybody out here is trying to make it. They're trying to provide for their family. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. They don't know me shit.
Right. And for some, they do have that support. They do have that that group of people that are able to help them out. We don't. And like you said, it's okay. You just got to build your own success. And that's what you've been doing basically on your own with your familia. So shout out to you for doing that. I wanted to ask you too. I know you said you struggled with mental health. When did that come about? When did you realize you had like some sort of mental health issue? And how have you been able to manage that now?
Okay, so I feel like it's part of the story, right? Like once I stopped drinking, I felt that was the time where I was tired of who I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it goes back to like, you're not ready until you're ready, right?
Yeah.
And I got tired, I stopped drinking, and then I was like, okay, maybe this is the time where I can actually start working on myself, right? Like, we got momentum. And since day one, I felt like I was off, right? Since my parents, going through the whole alcoholism and this and that. So I seeked out for help. I saw a psychiatrist. They diagnosed me with bipolar depression.
When was this, if you don't mind me asking?
I was like around 37, 38. So right now, so maybe like 8 years, 10, yeah, like 10,
okay.
9, 10
so prior
years.
to pandemic.
Yeah. Prior to the Hood Foodie, so
Yeah,
around
okay.
10, around there. Instagram. And that was the first time I took my first medication, 5 milligrams, everything in the box hit me. It took me to a deeper depression. I found myself at work during lunchtime in my F-150 Raptor contemplating suicide. The only reason why I didn't drive out was because somebody was parked in front of me. If not, I don't know where that shit was going. And then, I hit up my lady, like, hey, babe, I'm trying to take myself out here. And then she's like, oh, no, wait till after work. I'll get you some help. I ended up in a Mission Community Hospital in Panama City on a 5152 hold.
Ooh, put you on a hold.
And then I'm in there. And, it's fucking one flew over the cuckoo's nest type of shit, right? So
Yeah.
It's ironic that you brought up the fact that you wanted to, commit suicide. Because, and this is the first time I'm sharing this on our pod. Where I went through the same thing in 2023 when I was laid off from my job. I'd already been bouncing from jobs, and here I thought, I finally got a great job and everything. And in July of 2023, I get laid off, and I couldn't land a job for the life of me. And my rent had just gone up.
Damn.
They had just raised the rent again. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to be able to pay this rent? I'm trying to hold my anger, my emotions while my wife is really showing her emotion, because she's, females just express it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to hold it together, and I'm trying to hold her together, and it was bad. And it got to a moment where here I am trying to find any type of job. I went to a day labor job. And when I went to that day labor job where they hire a bunch of Mexicans, I'm like, what the am I doing here?
They didn't hire that Mexican.
What? And yeah, they still told me like, we'll give you a call on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm driving out of there, and I'm driving, and I go up. I was off of Haven in Ontario, and I'm looking at the mountains, and that was my first thought. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab my gun. I'm gonna go to Mount Baldy, and I did, and I stood in my car for a while there. I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm done. Like, if this is my life, I don't want it.
Right.
And I thought about it for a while, and then I'm like, shit, what am I doing?
Yeah, no doubt.
Thought about my son, thought about my daughter,
Right.
my wife. I'm like, okay, snap the fuck out of it. Get back down there, man, and just something will come up. Believe in God and trust in Him, and something will come up. And yeah, thankfully I snapped out of it, came back out, and thank goodness for that month when our rent was coming up. My mother-in-law helped us out, and my wife's grandfather helped us out. And then from there, things started rolling, So yeah, I can relate to that part, So that it's weird that I'm sharing that just because I've only talked about it personally.
Yeah, no, we've talked about it before, like, you and I, and I don't think it's weird. I think it's sometimes you need to like get that stuff out. Like, we've always said this about our podcast. We've done, like we told you before, we've done many shows together, and we've always thought of it as like a therapy, a little therapy, a little therapeutic for us, because we just kind of talk about what's going on. I mean, we did a podcast during pandemic, totally on like Google, Zoom, and all this. I mean, it was a mess, but it was a learning experience for sure. But it is something that you can like just kind of let go and talk to someone about, even because suicide's a serious thing. Back to Big Mike's story, they unfortunately had to deal with something like that as well. Yep. And unfortunate for them, it was the opposite of what you guys have experienced. That their person was successful in suicide, and it's a serious thing. And honestly, like, if you need to get help, like whatever, talk to someone about it. And I know that it's easier said than done. But man, I am I'm glad both of you guys didn't do anything like that, because that would be awful. We wouldn't be sitting here.
And
right
that's
now,
why I was
sure.
saying that him and I relate, because when we had that phone conversation, I was like, damn, him and I, there's so many things that are similar to my life that are similar to his, about, like I mentioned, his parents,
right,
the alcoholism, the addiction to alcoholism. I mean, I had that during the pandemic. It was bad, and my wife had to have an intervention for me.
Yeah,
because I was spinning out of control,
drinking every day,
pretty much.
Yeah,
drinking every day. I mean, I was getting all this money, not only the pandemic money, but my severance, and also my job that had terminated me was paying me my regular salary.
It's insane.
So I had money coming in, and what else? What do I do with it?
I'm gonna drink.
Buy me 2 bottles a day, usually.
Yeah, Kirkland style, huh?
Kirkland style.
Man,
so shout out to you, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Obviously,
brother.
you do deal with the mental health part of it, and you've been able to manage it now. And not only that, you've been able to create a successful platform, from all that. So, honestly, you are inspiring, and that's why a lot of people see you as an inspiration, as a motivating factor for them, to light a fire underneath them, because
true,
you had those struggles that either they just look at and be like, damn, if he can do that shit,
so can
I can do that.
Yeah. No, yeah, man. I want to commend you for allowing us that special moment of opening up, up to the public. Obviously, you probably talked to them about it, but for you to put it out there in the masses, sometimes I I trip out on people like, oh my God, like like you're so open and this and that, and I feel like that's my purpose, right? Like just to be transparent, and inspire people with my truth, because for me it's my truth, right? I live it. Like I don't see anything special, right? Like I'm just running with it. I'm grateful. People praise me, and it's like, okay, how can I help out more? Like I'm just I'm focused, I'm driven, and maybe it's a good thing that I don't see the fame and this and that, right? Like it keeps us humble, but that's the reason why I do it, right? Because I know we're very similar and we don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just programmed a certain way. Our upbringing, like, oh no, people are gonna judge us. People are gonna do this. Those are a lot of the broken souls that I've come across.
Right.
It's the way that they've been programmed, that they can't snap out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's hard.
I mean, obviously, I'm grateful to be one of the few, because like I said, this is Diosito's plan. He gave me a second chance. I mean, who would I be? You know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't optimize it to be able to help people, when I've always been the voice of the people that don't have a voice. I just have a platform now.
Yeah, no doubt. I love that you put that, just putting my part, Diosito's plan in your bio. We're talking to the hood foodie. The hood foodie. He integrates a lot of his content with like family and community. And it was interesting to us, when because we just saw like, man, you got so much going on, way more than us, and right, for sure. So we're like, let's bring him through, let's bring him into the studio so we could talk to him real quick. And we look at all your stuff. We always do that with everybody. We go over everything and we try and like pick out some of our favorite things. And you're all the way out there in the valley, and then we're over here in the other valley. IE. The other valley.
Well, yeah,
the IE, yeah. I always say the better valley. I'm just kidding, but it's always a joke. But I know that you're out that way, but is there any limitations to where you're going? Like, I mean, do you want to do, like, let's say, I don't know. We asked, I think Luis's from A Toast to Life, like he was in San Diego, or he'll go to, like, they'll go wherever,
Yeah, they were in San Francisco
or whatever.
Denver.
I mean, are you open to doing stuff like that as well too? Like, it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't always have to be local.
Oh no, like I said, Diosito told me that the world was gonna get to know the hood foodie.
Yeah,
but it's at God's timing.
Yeah, I like it.
I've launched the Hood Foodie World Tour, right? Like I've gone to Chicago, I've gone to Las Vegas, San Diego, San Jose, San Francisco.
Okay, so you've been around.
Mexicali,
yeah.
Leon. So it's just a matter of time of putting that team together that can take us to that level. But I'm ready.
Love it.
I'm ready. Wherever people, I got people reaching out to me from Australia, Brazil, New York. So wherever the familia wants me to stop by, who would I be if I didn't?
Right.
Where do you want the hood foodie to be when it's all said and done?
You know what? I people have asked me, like, what's your 5-year plan? Da, 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 da. I've tried to detour shit.
I don't like the whole 5-year plan. I hate it when they ask me, what's
too.
your 5-year plan? I don't know what my 5-year plan is.
Like, you're gonna.
I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
You're gonna ask me that, like, it trips me out all the time, because, like, I mean, I did a crap ton.
I got Russ riled up on that.
No, seriously. No, thank you. No, sorry to interrupt you. I'm gonna stand on a soapbox for real quick. But that drives me insane. It's the most default question ever asked. I'm not kidding, because I've done hundreds of interviews, like, with people. I used to interview a lot of people because I was a manager for a very long time. So, like, I've interviewed people, and I hated what's your 5-year plan? It's like, are you kidding me? Like, that's the best question that you got? Like, that's what you're coming with? Like, come on, man. And then when people ask that, it's like, really? You woke up this morning and that's exactly what you told yourself. I'm going to ask that question right there. Look at me. You made all these notes and like, what's your 5-year plan? I don't know what the fuck my 5 years plan. I mean, straight up, dude. Like, we just don't know.
We don't know.
Like, what you want to do though is you want to have. Everybody says 135, 135. Well, from what I've learned, 135, the 1 year, the 3 year, the 5 year, right? That's the better question, not the 5-year plan. What's the 135? what's your 1, what's your 3, what's your 5. What you've done is you've opened up 3 channels of understanding where this person is headed in directions. Short, mid, long. That is the better question. And I've always said that to HR people or whatever. Stop with the 5-year plan. It drives me crazy.
And with that,
Sorry.
we wrap it up. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. All right.
No, I
digress.
get it. I hate the whole 5-year plan. I used to hate it when they used to ask you that in an interview. It's like, what's your 5-year plan?
What's your 1, 3, 5?
And then you have to think about it. Like, well, I hope to be doing this, and then hope to make it to do this, and then maybe do this. Whatever, dude. It's like,
Sorry.
it makes no sense for the 5-year plan.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'll step back. Sorry about that.
for me, you know, I never looked for this. You know, I was running a blind.
What? This is a cool picture right here. What is that right there?
Oh, that's
Sorry to interrupt
Is
you.
it
about
El
that,
Ranchito? No, I think
El Huarachito.
Guarachito. Oh yeah, no, El Guarachito.
Guarachito.
So this is a car club, C10 Familia, and they wanted to take me to their local
that's cool.
restaurant.
Oh,
So you know,
Nice.
yeah, so yeah, you know, everybody, you know, got connected, and you know, the owner out there, she's amazing, amazing hospitality. You know, that home cooking that just takes you home. You know what I'm saying? So no, that was. You know,
I love that we caught that. I caught that
moments.
in the middle of it all because
and
you in
Triple S.
action, you know.
So this is at Big Burrito in Canoga Park, and do you guys know who that is?
No.
That's Dino Casares from Fear Factory.
Oh, no.
Fear Factory.
Oh, okay.
The band. Heavy metal
okay.
band.
Brujeria, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, that's Dino right there. Like he's toured with Soulfly. He's, you know what I'm saying?
Soulfly.
So just to go,
Lamb of God.
just to show you,
Oh,
I used to
damn.
listen
you know
to
what I'm
that
saying? Like
music.
the familia, like he want, hey, I want to go out and eat with you. Oh, I got this bomb burrito spot in the hood of Canoga Park. Let's go.
That's cool.
But grateful,
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome, man.
you know. But going, going back to the conversation of like, I think it's very important that I make sure that people know where I want the Hood Foodie brand to go. I mean, I exactly don't know where. I've realized that I've built something. You know, my dad would always tell me, because my brother was always living the fast life. At the time, I didn't understand it, but he's like, Rome wasn't built in one day.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's
what,
true,
what, like,
man.
what am I supposed to learn from that, right? And now that I'm older, I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't even know that I was building Rome brick by brick.
I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? And then you're Pops is absolutely right, because it wasn't built in a day. Nothing is built in a day. Everybody wants a success overnight,
Yeah.
right? But it just doesn't happen that way, man. You got to put in the work.
Bro, so many people that I've come across that have fallen. So many people that they were next to me, and they're like, oh yeah, man, I want to be at Netflix. I want to be on TV. And I'm like, all right, yeah, do you, man? Like, you know, and I always got the whole like, it's so funny because the people that don't look for it.
Yeah. Some of the best advice I've ever received was from a millionaire, right? Let's just say that. You know what? Maybe one day we might have him on the pod.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible. And he was I wouldn't say a mentor, but he was more of a guy that I had to take care of in my old job. And you know what he told me? He said, you know what? I wasn't rich in my 20s, my 30s, and I barely got rich in my 40s. He's all, but when I finally figured that part out, you know, that moment came, you know, he goes, in my late 30s, I was living at my parents' house. And I looked at him because this guy he's extremely wealthy, extremely.
Are you talking about who I'm thinking?
Yeah, we know him together. And but he
he even mentioned that he had to share a restroom with all his wife, his 2 daughters, and at some point,
right?
And now, well, I don't know if this is true, but he always says, now I make sure I have at least 10 restrooms in my house.
That's very true. I mean, he had an elevator in his house, right?
He had
an elevator in his house. Well, his old house. But the thing is, what I took away from that was, it didn't matter to him that he became a millionaire, you know, in his 40s. But he said, and it shouldn't matter to anybody. He goes, because when the time is your time, it'll happen. But, you know, like you said, you just got to manifest it. You just got to stay on the grind. You got to work hard at it. And that's what the a lot of people just don't want to do that, man. This guy does work 6 days a week, though. I don't think he does anymore.
7 days.
Or 7. Well, I think. Well, I mean, he's on the air 6 days a week. I know that, but you're probably right, 7 days a week. Because he did have a bunch of businesses too. But I love that you point that out. That you have to have that. That motivation, that grind, that push. And fortunate for all of us here. We have families. Drew included, right? That give us that. That elevation, like keep going.
Support system.
Yeah. Because as soon as you stop, then it's like that's when you fail, right? That's when you fail.
When
as soon as you
stop trying, that's when you fail.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love that you point that out, man. And that and a lot of people don't know that or respect that or think about that.
So at the end of the day, where do I want this brand to go? I don't know. I don't know if my kids are gonna take over. I mean, that it's up to them. I've never been a believer of like pushing my kids to do what I do.
Mm-hmm. I feel
if they
that.
want to do it, they do
Yeah.
it.
Well, it seems like the little one has that potential.
That's cabrón. Like that dude. Like I tell my wife, that dude right there, damn.
Nice.
Damn, Juju. I mean, they both got their talents, right? Xavier, he does animations. Like I'm talking about Disney style animations.
Right.
Like he's gifted in creating cartoons,
wow.
Drawing and things like that. Juju, he's more like Pinky in the Brain. Like he's like the king.
Methodical.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, sometimes he'd be, hey man, those words are too big for me, Canalito. No. But right now, my biggest goal with the brand, regardless of how far it goes, is I feel like I owe it to my family to give them a fucking house before I take my last breath.
Amen to that, man.
I love it.
Amen to that.
I love it. I mean, that sounds like a good final thought. That like.
I feel you, dude.
That.
When you say that, I feel you because that's what I would like to accomplish.
You're building legacy, right? Because Luis told us that last time. He's like, you want to build that legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. People are like, oh, what's your legacy? What would you like your legacy to be? And I'm like, I could care less about my legacy, man. Like, I just hope that when I take my last breath, all the people that I took care of with no questions asked, and I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands, take care of my family like I did theirs.
Yeah.
Fuck my legacy. I just want that motherfucking favor.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of my family like I took care of everybody else's family with no questions asked. Struggling myself, bringing my family with me. They struggle with me. Yes, right now, obviously, everybody wants to see me on the top, right? Like, oh, Hood Foodie. Like, people don't see what fucking it's taken to get there.
Mm-hmm.
What I had to go through, the people that I had to, take with me. And that, like I said, like right now, it's like I could care less about anything. I just, I was gone for so many years, like I was not concentrating on my family. I was trying to heal myself. Exactly. And not knowing that, they were going to get inspired. And I'm even, getting more inspired. And it's like, I'm trying to catch up and give them the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my main focus, the little things in life. It's fuck all the material shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not taking that shit to the grave.
True.
Right? My thoughts right now is like, damn, like, and I don't know if it's because of age or whatnot. It's like, I visualize myself not being around. Like, what does that look like for them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's reality.
Yeah,
it's scary, of course. Like, fuck, like, like, what's going to happen to them, right? Like, I'm not going to be there as a protector. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, the same thoughts go. I have those same thoughts.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same thoughts. It's like, damn, what am I leaving my kids, by the time I'm gone? So for me to hear him, it's like, I just want to be able to get them a house. It's that. And, there was a moment in time where I was so damn selfish, again, going back to like the pandemic and just drinking every day, only thinking about myself, obviously.
Right.
I could have done so much more with that money that I had for my kids, but I was stupid, So now when you finally end up hitting that rock bottom, it's like, oh shit, you need to wake up and you need to do something for yourself and you need to leave something. And if it's not money, because it's not always about money, it's about being able to leave your kids something special where they're like, you know what? My dad was this. My dad did this for us. My dad showed me this. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
You're right about the money part too, because when my dad passed, he didn't leave us any money. That's for damn sure.
Same here.
Right?
Oh, same here.
We were left this trust fund, or a badass house, or something that we can live off of. Nothing like that. Everything is from the ground up, right, from scratch, from zero and up. And it wasn't about money, but what he did leave was his love for us. And he did show me, even though he was a hard ass, but he did show me how to love and how to treat your kids and how to, it's one of the most important things ever. You could have all this money, you could be rich, whatever, you could have all this material shit, just like you were saying. It's not about that. But man, one of the biggest things to have is that connection with your kids and that love and that look, at the end of the day with them. And and honestly, it really is like it's a respect thing. And then I have one of the best things, man. We were up in Big Bear a couple weeks, right? And a couple weeks ago, and my kids are older, and I always say this, right? My kids are like, my son's 6'2", my daughter's 28, my son's 22, right? So, and then my future son-in-law, right? So they're all with me in Big Bear at Stater Brothers, right? I'm buying alcohol, and then the lady cards me. She goes, "Need to see your ID." I was like, "Come on, Mo, those are my kids right there." And then she looks at me, she goes, "Right there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're my kids." And she's all,
Did you see all your white hairs in your face?
I know, right? She's seeing all my gray coming through. Come on, man, I got my salt and pepper going down. So, but she looked at me and she's scanning the stuff, and we're laughing about it. And then she looks over and she goes, "Hey, good job." I go, "Oh,
nice.
Thank you."
Yeah.
I was like, and this is, this is a complete stranger. She didn't know who the hell I was, right? So, and I look over her. I'm like, wow, because she looked over there and she saw like my kids are still there, but it is the most important thing, not the cash, man, not the money, man, not the assets, man, because we all know that pops and moms they ain't leave us anything. But I dig that. I like that you pointed that out, that it's not about the money, man. It's not about that. It's about the moment.
And also,
them.
thank you for being so expressive, because
for sure, man.
Luis from Atosa Live says, like, I don't care if people judge me for being emotional and showing my emotions. And him and I went back because I don't show emotions.
That was great.
I really don't. But I'm starting to understand, like, it's okay to show those emotions.
Absolutely.
Because it shows that you care.
It's the way that we're programmed. We got to break through those barriers. Like I said, we have those feelings for a reason. Like, there's a functionality for everything. Mm-hmm. For our tears, for our pain, for our happiness, like.
I almost wanted to cry when he was tearing up, but it's like
that would have been the first. I've never seen you cry, so.
And that's where it go, right? Like I tell people, like, I'm rich, maybe not money wise.
That's right.
Yeah,
but I
love that.
I got a family that loves me, dude. A community that supports me. I got a roof over my head.
Preach about it, bro.
Like I got food on my table. Bro. These jeans are probably like I've had them for like a year and a half.
Since high school.
I'm simple.
Just kidding. Oh, wait. Just me?
Damn. That's
I take care of my stuff. I'm just kidding.
But it goes to show, right? Like I'm rich, but you know what I'm saying? Shit.
You're rich in life with your family.
I mean,
and I know you mentioned this. I hope you don't mind that I mentioned this before we started recording. Is that he did say that he does struggle sometimes where he loses his train of thought.
Yeah.
So but where I was going is that see now you ignited it. But what were we talking about?
The fact that you're rich.
Okay. So I always tell people, I might not have any money in my pockets.
Right.
But I'm rich, if that makes any sense.
No, it does make a lot of sense.
And that goes back to protecting your peace.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to find your wealth within. Like, you got to find your wealth with what you have and look at your actual wealth. And if you can't see that, where sometimes, like I said, I struggled with that. It's like, what am I doing? I can't even do this with my family. I can't do it. But then you have to look at the other side of things where it's, I have a house, I have a roof over my head.
That's right.
I can feed my kids. I can put clothes on my kids' back, on my wife. We're not struggling like others. And I work out in these communities, and I see some of the struggles with unhoused people and where they're at, and it's like, damn, so for me, it's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
And I think God put me in this type of field to be able to better understand my life and to try to hopefully maybe help others, while also doing this podcast and being able to, basically express and let people know where I come from.
No doubt.
And at the same time, get to know our guests and where they come from.
That's right. I love it, man. Hey, Alexander, thanks for spending time with us on that, man. I we could do this all day. You know
Oh,
that,
yeah,
right? Like,
dude.
we're constantly like that.
You know what? I know it's very important because I know we didn't really emphasize on the fact of like, when my what it looked like when my wife kind of like took me out of work and I started
Yeah, I
this
know.
brand.
We didn't go back to that.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think that's very important because she has been through hell back and forth with me. Like I said, I've exceeded my life I've exceeded my 9 lives twice. Twice. Yes. From, like I said, alcoholism, depression, suicide, 51-52 hold, diabetes, COVID almost took me out too.
Wow.
And she's been my rock, and my last former job was Netflix. I was on a 6-month contract. And this is the part where like you start making people believe, right? Like, because at first she was like, oh yeah, just a hobby, everything, just like my whole family, right? Oh, he's doing it for a hobby. Hey, let's
Cute. Look what he has going on.
He's got a
That's
little pot
cute.
thing. Yeah.
I'll be like, oh yeah, hey man, these people are inviting me to go eat, man, free food, da da da. Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, go do your thing. Okay. So it got to the point where
Totally get it.
I believe that I felt like I finally had made her believe, because my wife, she's very like, I'm faith, she's numbers.
Yeah. Black and white, no gray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Jesus, and she's like, no, show me the money, show me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So for her to take that huge step of believing in me and tell me like, look, you don't want to go back to work. I'll give you a year. I'll give you a year to see what you can do with the brand.
That's cool.
And 1 year led to 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, she was my sugar mama. She's been my sugar mama for years.
Hey,
right?
now.
And
What's up? I got a sugar mama too.
I need a sugar mama.
Smoking Dre, what up?
and I feel like that's a huge part of the reason why I'm also where I'm at. And it goes back to, if you don't have a strong support system, especially at home,
Right.
it's going to be very difficult to follow your dreams.
For sure.
At the end of the
That's
day,
true.
like
That's very
I tell my circle, and I tell everybody, you know what I'm saying? I don't stop for nobody. Even with the conversations with my wife, right? Like, you don't stop for me? I came into this world by myself. I'm leaving by myself.
Usually that's how it happens.
Everything in between is extra.
Yeah.
So it's what I do in between, and not for me,
Right.
but for everybody else. Right? So yeah, man, huge shout out to my wife, because
Shout out to the Food Hoodie lady.
That's right.
Miss, I know she hates
Miss-
she hates
Mrs.?
oh no, she's like, no, I'm Carolina Orozco, like,
Oh,
I don't know,
okay.
I'm nobody's
Oh.
I'm like, you're the Hood Foodie's wife. You're Miss Hood Foodie.
Yeah.
Miss
Right?
Hood Hoodie.
She need that independence, so I like it though.
Which like
I kind of like that though. I dig that.
Yeah.
What I do for the community in the streets,
Right.
like she does, where she works at, she like, elevates people. She makes them supervisors, managers. Like, they take papers, like, to fill out their forms, to become a citizen. Like, we're givers at the end of the day, right? Like, we take care of people, right? And so for you to put those two dynamics together, and then you add the kids now, like they're obviously I want to make sure that I give them a platform. Xavier with being being in the autism community. I'm still kind of trying to figure out Juju, but like you said, man, like the dude, he's something else. I feel like he might kind of take over the brand, but like I said, at the end of the day,
Nice.
it's whatever they want to pursue, because I feel like I can't tell them what to do.
Right.
When I felt like I would, I was soul searching, only to find something that actually helped me love myself.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm able to love others.
Yeah.
That's important, man.
That's awesome, man.
You got to take care of yourself first. Hey, do us a favor real quick, Alexander. Tell us all your socials, where people can find you, exactly.
And any projects you got coming up.
Any projects you got coming up, because we know we're known to screw a lot of those things up. So we always, we are known for that. Yeah. But we always make sure that we tell, whoever, we have on is like, tell us exactly where people can, your socials, all the platforms that you're currently on.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, at the Hood Free. Shit.
Gotta get this right, because we always screw it up.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Oh no, you can definitely find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook under the Hood Foodie. I'm also
nice.
thehoodfoodie.com.
There it is.
And as far as like projects, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I feel like I tell people too much. And one day I came across because I was doing Uber, right? Because you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, man, you got to hustle it.
And me being bubbly, I was speaking to somebody, and I had a ton of stuff going on that time. And she called me out.
Yeah.
She said, "You know why a lot of your things are not flourishing? Because you put too much out there. Not everybody wants to see your
I've been told the
success."
same thing. Sometimes it's better not to share certain things. It's better to just keep it to yourself and let it transpire. And if it doesn't, then at least it didn't, and you keep it to yourself. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
I've been applying that 2025, and let me tell you, you know what I'm saying? Telemundo, Will Smith. I mean, so much stuff already started happening just by me keeping it to myself and just letting it to just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that we definitely got some huge things coming to many communities out there. Like I said, I have a partnership with my partners out in Mexico to start helping out businesses grow. And we're not just gonna, because I know with the social media thing, right? Like you hit up an influencer and it's kind of like a wave. No, we're here to, like I've always been. I'm not here to be a wham bam thank you man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
here to build with people. So we're trying to consistently, elevate your business and keep it up there. International Food Festival 2025. I believe this year it's July 26th, 27th. Downtown Riverside. My boy Mike.
Nice.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
All right. Maybe we'll
you
go
guys
out
don't
there.
know about it?
No, man. We
Dude,
know about it now.
Oh, hey, my boy Mike from Family Market Company. This is I started with him 3
It's in
years
downtown
ago.
Riverside.
Bro,
We might have
next
to go out
the
there.
Mission.
I think we should.
Next
go
to
out
should go out
Cheech
there,
and
yeah.
Chong.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah, the
oh.
museum.
He blocks off like four blocks.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Oh no, the last year's I think brought over 100,000.
So
in
he promotes
attendance.
all this.
Well, no, he has
puts
a
it
team.
together. Oh, he has a team.
So I mean, he's his brand is Family Market Company, which obviously it's spread. It spins off with too many things. One of them is the International Food Festival that's happening this year. This I believe July 26, 27.
Maybe we should have a
Don't
talk
call me
with
on
him.
that. But they're gonna be having
Yeah,
podcasters.
set 'em up.
Oh, no. Last year,
we'll talk to 'em.
last year they had the Temptations.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Hell yeah.
no, like it's huge.
We'll talk to him about the event, because
Yeah, for sure.
we love to talk to. Obviously, we love to talk to anybody, because we definitely, our next guest actually we're going to talk to is someone that's pretty important to us, and we're going to make an announcement here on the next one here pretty soon. But yeah, man, we would love to talk to him. He should come in, or we'll go out there to him. We're trying to do more
Well,
stuff
he's
outside
here.
of the studio.
He's near your hood. He's in Riverside.
Yeah, maybe he'll come into the studio. I mean, that'd be cool
Hopefully.
too.
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
pretty
if you
sure
could
Mike
just-
would love it.
I mean, if you can connect us with him,
We'll
great.
take it.
Oh no, see that's
love it.
like I said, that's one of the things with the Hood Foodie. You don't just get me. You
Yeah.
Get the familia.
I love it, man. I
And so
love
which
it.
is right
Hell
here,
yeah, hell
right
yeah.
here. Familia.
I wear it in my heart. You know
By
what
the
I'm
way,
saying?
one thing we can share that we probably will be doing, and we have to make it happen,
Right.
is like I was telling him, we got to do a feature with Del Seed Coffee going
Yes,
out there.
we did
so
talk
he's
about
down
that.
to do it.
Love it.
We're down to do it. So
We
let's
gotta do
make
it.
it happen.
Hey, just FYI, I love to wake and bake, baby, wake and bake.
Well, thanks for your time, man. We really appreciate it. We're going to wrap
Yeah,
this
man.
up here. Thanks to everybody that always tunes into all of our videos. We do appreciate it. We also appreciate our guy, Drew, here at 3P Studios. And we always say this, too. If you're interested in coming to this studio, hit us up. Everything is on our YouTube and our Instagram. And if you're also interested in, of course, the Hood Foodie, head on over to his Instagram. Click through. He has a bunch of great stuff on there with Familia right? And a huevos, I saw that on your YouTube, bro, with that guy. That was pretty cool too. And then our next guest, though, of course, coming up is someone that is going to. He's kind of changed how we do things, like and it's awesome. So we can't.
He's giving us a better look.
He has given us a better look, and we can't wait to talk to him. And I want to tell Rojo real quick. When we close out, do you think we need something inspiring, or is that a little cheesy, corny?
Yeah, I think I was feeling it. I think I need to say a little something.
Yeah, a little something. So I wrote a few things down, and Rojo and I we always go back and forth on this notepad here that we're constantly updating, and it's obsessive. But I say this, right, and I don't know if this sounds weird, but make every note, word, and moment matter, because it could be yours or their last one. That's pretty good, right?
Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that. No, that's good.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress, right? All right. But hey, Alexander, thanks, brother, for coming out, man, all the way out here to 3P Studios.
No, like I said from the beginning, I'm super grateful when people give me a voice. It just gives us an opportunity to inspire one more person out there.
For sure.
And I want to make sure that people understand that with my story, I feel like God is trying to tell people that if I can get to this point with the little that I've had to this day sometimes, what's stopping you? So, like I said, man, I'm super grateful for being here. It means the world. And you guys know what's up. Make sure you guys come out, support, and tell them that the Hood Foodie sent you.
Hell yeah.
Love it, man.
Love it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.